Day 86. I still haven't gotten a match in Kirby Fighters 2 matchmaking. I don't know how much longer I can last out here. It's a barren wasteland. Isn't that sweet? Unfortunately, in the grand scheme of this harsh reality, it means nothing. I thought it'd be interesting to make a video like this because, well, I'm complaining the whole time. What? Kirby's had an odd but understandable history of online multiplayer, and I just wanted to talk about it because they brought back DS download play, and for the love of all that is holy, how please give your games game share. I am on my knees. Kirby's first online foray began all the way back on the SNES, oh my god. First releasing in late 1994 only in the United States, the Xband was a modem specifically designed to enable online play for the SNES, Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, and the IBM PC. According to its website, it had a lot of standard internet features too, like email and friends lists. I've never heard of this thing until about 5 minutes ago while writing the script, and I have to say this sounds like one of the coolest peripherals you could have owned at the time. Anyway, Kirby's Avalanche was chosen as one of the 52 prestigious games to be compatible with the peripheral. God knows if anyone actually played it during this thing's 2-year lifespan, but it was indeed possible. There was a certain other SNES Kirby game that would have greatly benefited from online PvP, but we'll get to that later. For sane people, Kirby's online ventures got their start on the 3DS, beginning with Team Kirby Clash Deluxe. We are off to a great start. You know, I could have sworn the True Arena ranking system that Triple Deluxe and Planet Robobot had introduced supported Spot Pass, which is basically just Street Pass but on the internet, but no, it's just Street Pass. Anyway, Team Kirby Clash Deluxe had a Wandering Adventurers system where you could recruit other people's Kirbys via Street Pass and the internet to replace your computers, which were bound by the same level and gear you had. It was especially useful for harder missions, as you could regularly get people who were stronger than you. And then of course there was Hell on Earth. Okay, what's next? Okay, now we're actually getting somewhere. Holy! Kirby Battle Royale, the first Kirby game with true direct online multiplayer. If only I actually had footage to show for it. As I'm sure most of you probably know, the Nintendo network consisting of online functionality for 3DS and Wii U games shut down in April of last year, meaning I can't actually get any footage of Wi-Fi battles. But I did play it when it was still up, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. In my experience, anyway. It was just 4 players duking it out in various modes. I'm sure if I played it back when this game was still popular, I'd have a great time queuing up with my friends. Friend queues, not even friend lobbies, exist in this game. The only people you can play with are randoms within your own region because this game is region locked. Also, remember when I said it's 4 players? Yeah, I meant that, because the game will not start a match until at least 4 people are in the lobby. So you can't even salvage anything if the servers are that inactive, where you only get 2 or 3 people in a lobby, which they were at one point before the shutdown. There isn't any. They brought back, the selling point is the co-op. They brought back the helpers from Kirby Superstar and Kirby GCN, and there is no online. Not in the story mode, not in the arena, not even in the sub-games. An entire update cycle went by, and they still didn't add it. The only reason I'm complaining about this now is because Super Kirby Clash came out roughly a year and a half after Star Allies, and it actually had online multiplayer. It was only for half of the missions and they were on the harder side, but for a free-to-play game, it was a fine enough compromise. There were even cute little stickers you could buy to better communicate with your team. Now let's see that connectivity performance. Yeah, HAL's netcode or Nintendo's peer-to-peer connections, whatever it is, it's not great. In fact, it's quite bad. For these next few games, I swear to you, it is impossible to get into a match with randoms that doesn't have at least a third of a second's worth of input delay. Back on this game, I feel like they could have done at least a little more. This game has missions that sometimes have very specific criteria to be met. It'd be cool if there was a highlight feature where the host can communicate which missions they want to get done specifically. That way, when they need to kill Kracko with this specific move, they can actually do that instead of the level 100 sugar daddy who will kill him in under 30 seconds. I'm not level 100, by the way. On the topic of random matches, this game has people in a chokehold. I'm convinced it's because it's free, but I'm positive this is the only active online Kirby game out of the 3 on this console. There's nothing. It has the same mediocre netcode as Kirby Clash, made even worse by the fact it's a fighting game, and if you remember the bit from the beginning of the video, it's dead. They removed the alternate color options from Kirby Fighters Deluxe. There isn't a preferred rules system when going into random matches, meaning it's always items on any stage 2v2. And once again, the game will not start if there aren't 4 people in a lobby. There's just nothing here. You wanna know something crazy though? This game's demo has online. You can't host, but it has online. What? You know the type of fighting games I think of that have demos with online? Fucking Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, dude, what? A cute little anniversary album with a game attached. Yeah, you thought that joke only worked with Mario Kart right now, but Kirby did it first. Let me not get sidetracked here though. People mostly compare this game to Fall Guys, and it's easy to see why. We have bright and colorful stages which either involve a race through an obstacle course or some form of combat. When it was first revealed, many people thought it was gonna have big lobbies, like we thought we were looking at a Kirby Battle Royale, not the game, situation here. Then all of these extra characters ended up being NPC waddle-dees and there's only up to 4 people in an actual room. However, I do have to give this game this. The connectivity does feel better. I'm sure it was probably just because this game's whole thing is being online multiplayer, so Hal had to lock in, but it feels better than these two, that's for sure. Too bad it's dead. Dude, Return to Dreamland's getting a remake? And they're adding like 50 sub-games! This is a new age. Mario 3D World got online, so surely the next Nintendo Switch Kirby platformer with a strong emphasis on multiplayer can pull through and save us all. It's one sub-game and it's not in real time. As I'm sure you probably know, Nintendo released the Nintendo Classics series of games, free-to-download collections of NES, SNES, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo 64, and even GameCube games, as long as you had the Nintendo Switch Online subscription. And wouldn't you know it, they added online functionality across the board, which means that Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Kirby's Dream Course, Kirby 64, Kirby's Avalanche Again, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, and Kirby Star Stacker for the Game Boy were all given official online multiplayer. And I think that's kind of amazing. There is one more SNES Kirby game that I actually think benefited from this the most, and that's Kirby Star Stacker for the SNES. This one really perplexed me when it dropped. It's a souped up version of the Game Boy game with Dreamland 3's art style. It was the last Kirby game to be released on the SNES, and it was never localized. It's such a fascinating game to me because this is the actual Kirby block puzzle game. Avalanche was just one of the like 70 Puyo Puyo reskins that happened over here in the West. When Star Stacker released on Nintendo Switch Online, it remained unlocalized. It's weird to me, but at least it's there because, my god, this game is addicting. This is a really fun block stacker, and it gets intense with the higher speeds, which is why I'm even more glad that it has a PvP mode which can now be played online. Listen, I just think Kirby Online multiplayer is an untapped market. The attempts have been made, sure, but overall, Kirby has had a bit of a shaky history with online. But with the Nintendo Switch 2, things are looking, well, better. Kirby Air Riders is slated to release later this year, and hi, mind if you stay a little longer? Yeah, sorry for my extended work leave. I was on a trip up in a different state for 3 weeks, and when I got back, my headset mic broke, and my computer gave me a heart attack after insinuating it had a drive failure. That was quickly fixed at the expense of me having to reinstall all my apps. Fun! I just wanted to say that, ironically, after my little spiel at the end of this video, I don't really feel like I have the time or energy to edit pretty boring gameplay footage, like, let's be real. So whenever new games come out, or I just want to play something in a chill way, like a mod or a challenge run or something, I'm going to livestream more often. This might seem like copping out, but I really didn't want it to feel that way, so I made this little guy. I hope he makes my commentary a bit livelier. That's all. Thanks for sticking around.